In 1995 in Rhode Island, a new sporting event began, and it brought together the finest extreme athletes around the globe. It was called the X Games, and today we honor those games by trying 3 Think brand protein bars while we celebrate the best of Street Luge, Moto X, and more. It's the annual X Games episode right now on You Tried Dat! X Games! I'm Nick Novak with my pals, Chad Hancock.
Oh man, I've been waiting all fucking year for the X Games up. Love it.
Nick Geiger.
Every year we talk about them. Every year I forget that they're coming. I'm always so surprised when you bring it up.
And we'll explain in a second here. Our guest from the podcast Hungry Cat Daily is our old friend Nick Ramirez. How are you, Nick?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. So every we don't watch the X Games, but we once did an X Games episode, and then every year
what does that mean? You did an X Games episode.
We had an episode come out the same week as like the X Games. So our very first year, we were trying to theme like every week, like, okay, July 4th episode. Blah, blah. What's this week? The X Games.
We landed on X Games, yeah.
We just made up a bunch of fake X Games sports for the whole episode. And then that was... Every year we've honored that tradition.
The last couple of years, I make that an episode without telling the guys that it will be an X Games episode.
Well, this makes sense for like the protein bar episode to be the X Games. Well...
Close enough.
Right? Kind of.
Oh, yeah.
It makes
I'm sure they're loading up on these things before spitting down a half pipe.
Yeah, it makes sense because one thing the X Games athletes don't do is think. So I think that's probably why it's a good one.
Nick, do you know anything about the X Games? Have you seen it? Are you like a skateboarder or any kind of extreme sporter?
No, I mean, I had a skateboard when I was like maybe 10 or so, and I wanted to get into it, but I didn't know how to get into skateboarding. I would just ride it around my house, and I bought like I don't know how I ended up with them, but I had like a pair of those gloves that are like cut off at the finger,
those are great.
Oh, fucking Tony Hawk over here.
Yeah.
The gear. I'm just picturing you decked out and all the skateboards are sadly like spinning around the basement of your house.
No. I was outside though. I didn't mean inside the house. Yeah. I was riding around outside my house, but I remember like using the gloves to like take a turn and like put my hands on the ground, like turn, use my hands.
That's pretty cool.
Well, this guy's a skateboarder.
But I never learned to ollie or any of the other stuff that they do.
The rest.
Okay, but how are you at the best X Games sport of all, Call of Duty? It's an actual X Games sport that we always make fun of. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I never got into Call of Duty either, so that would be the one that I would maybe have been able to do, but no.
Did you have the Call of Duty gloves?
The power is it the power glove?
The power glove, yeah.
Nintendo power glove.
You can turn so great with that power glove.
But something extreme did happen to you recently, and we're dying to hear about this. You met the one and the only, the Undertaker.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I say met is a stretch, I guess. But I walked out of a movie. I went to go see Marcel the Shell with shoes on, and I walked out of the theater, and in the lobby there he was, the Undertaker.
Seeing the same movie?
No. So they I guess they had rented it out for a movie premiere or something because the Undertaker lives here in Austin, and they must have rented it out for a movie. For like some low budget movie premiere. I assume the Undertaker's like a producer on it. That's just my guess because he was like hanging out there with the star of the movie and a couple other guys, and they were just talking in the lobby. And so I almost walked past them. Then I saw his Undertaker, and then I just turned back and walked back and sat in the lobby. Just kind of sat on my phone. I figured I'd just wait it out until like things calmed down and I could go walk up to him and say hi. But I was just sitting on my pretending to look at my phone for like a half hour. He wouldn't stop talking to these 3 other guys. Like I don't know what they were talking about, but they eventually like somebody else walked up to him and took a picture. Only one other person even bothered the Undertaker.
Wow.
I was literally sitting there for a half hour. I figured everybody would be like trying to get a picture with the Undertaker.
They're all intimidated by him.
I guess so. Yeah.
Are you sure it was him? He's kind of hard to recognize. 7 feet tall and tattoos all over his throat.
Yeah, and he still had the long hair. And
did he have like the Undertaker hat on and the tie? Walking around with an urn.
Outfit? I'm to understand he's dead too. Is that right?
Right.
He is. He is the dead man. I think he was in the American Badass form though. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
the period of time where he was the American Badass because he was wearing a bandana and jeans and like a jean. I think he had on a jean vest. I didn't get a picture, but
wait, you're sitting there on your phone and you didn't just like hold it up and snap a paparazzi shot or whatever?
I didn't want to. First of all, I didn't want the Undertaker to notice and choke slam me or something.
Maybe if you'd have had your board with you, you could have drawn some attention spinning in circles.
I can't believe after somebody else like, you know, opened the door or whatever, like broke the ice by taking a photo with him. That was your then opportunity to like write up, you know, hey, while we're taking photos, and then you could, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that makes all the sense in the world now. I think at the time I thought, well, he had to take a break from talking to his friends to take this photo. I don't want him to have to take an even longer break. And then also I figured, I don't want him to get mobbed. If everybody's taking photos, he's going to feel uncomfortable.
You're considerate.
Yeah, I was being pretty considerate of the Undertaker.
Nice guy.
But so eventually, like after 30 minutes or so, I just realized he's never going to stop talking to these people. The rest of the lobby had been kind of filled with people from the movie, from this movie premiere. They had like one of those like they call it a step and repeat. Is that what it is? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Is that an X Games move?
Yeah, I never learned how to do that on my skateboard either. No, like the thing where it's like a backdrop where you stand in front of it and take pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know what you're
I think that's called a step and repeat. Let me make sure. Because
it's really important. You should look it up.
We give a step and repeat. I was thinking,
get back to the Undertaker. No.
I was starting to think, is that a racist term? Step and repeat? Like it's.
Why would that be racist?
Huh?
There's something. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. There's something.
You just canceled yourself somehow. I don't even know.
That is like an old racist thing. But anyway, so I finally got up and I walked up to the Undertaker, and he's still talking to like the star of the movie, and I assume a couple of the producers of the movie, and they're just like talking about the scene where he had to go through basic training or something.
Who's the star of the movie? Is it just someone we would never know?
No, definitely not somebody anybody would ever know.
Okay.
Was it Kane?
Yeah, it was Kane.
About to ask that.
Kane and Daniel Day-Lewis were the two top billed stars, right?
There will be first blood.
Oil rig on a pole match. Now, if you had gone up to him, would you have called him Undertaker, or would you call him?
Well, I did go up to him. I did go up to him.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I went up to him, and they were like, they were like laughing and joking around like you guys were and talking. So I had to just come up to them and like kind of join the circle and just go, yeah. Pretend like So I was just like,
this guy gets it.
Good one, Taker.
It was like the guy from the movie who was telling the story. It's like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, a basic try. You had to learn the basic. And so I was just staying there for like a couple minutes, just pretending to like listen to the story. And then finally, one of the guys was like, "Oh, hey, I think you got a fan." But he was talking to the movie guy. Like he was like, he thought I was here to say hi to the movie star.
Yeah,
like star of the movie. He's not a movie star. He's like at best like a TV movie star, maybe.
Did you like pretend then that you were there for the movie star just to not hurt his feelings?
Well, no, I just turned to the Undertaker and said, "Hey, I'm a big fan. Can I?" He's like, and so for this whole time, like when the Undertaker was talking, he was like kind of just talking in a normal voice. He's like, "Hey, yeah, so yeah." I was like, "Oh, wow, that's crazy." And then I was like, "Hey, I'm a big fan." He turns around and goes, "What's your name, brother?" He goes into full Undertaker mode to say, Hi to me.
True professional. Wow.
For sure.
Did you get a photo or an autograph?
No, I didn't want to bother him for a photo, but I just said, "Oh, my name's Nick," and he's like, yeah, "Nice to meet you, Nick." And then I was like, when I left, I said, "Oh, hey, I love the movie. By the way, great job." I didn't see the movie. I doubt he did a great job.
What was your favorite part?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't see your movie.
What was your take on the cinematography? Shit.
But yeah, that was the extent of my meeting the Undertaker.
Was it a remake of Tombstone? Sorry.
Tombstone
Yeah,
colon pile driver. That's what it was called.
Tombstone 2, the pile driving.
Yeah, sounds like a nice guy. Well, I mean, at least it didn't tell you like scram or something.
Yeah, no, he was. I mean, yeah, I was worried that he would be like, I'm trying to just have a nice time out with my friends here.
Well, it's also like he's so big. It's probably like, and he's like tough looking. Well, he is tough, but like an intimidating kind of guy to go like say hi to, probably.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't. He is big, but I wasn't intimidated so much by that. I was more just like, I don't want to be a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a little starstruck. I mean, I'm a big He is like he has bad political views, I think.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
I'm sure he's
I mean,
not
I guess
alone in
most
that
wrestlers
company.
probably.
Yeah.
He's got to get in line for that. Yeah.
But yeah, because I want to say, oh, he seems like a really nice guy, but also he's probably
Probably a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You were probably laughing at some like political statement he said. He thinks you agree with him now.
Oh yeah. Immigration, yeah.
Yeah, build that wall. Hey, yeah. Build that wall so I can choke slam you through it.
All right, let's
awesome.
do some more chatting. Let's get to a snack or two here. We're gonna rate 3 snacks on a 5-point scale. Love that, like that, indifferent to that, dislike that, and hate that. And we have 3 think high protein bars.
Have you guys have already tried these?
No.
Oh, okay. You tried them live on the air. You didn't do that last time, did you?
No, we did.
We may have.
Okay.
We like to. Yeah, we like. This is.
Do you have any left? You texted me earlier like I've been eating them.
Oh, I actually bought them all again today. I bought 3 more boxes.
So you like these things is the deal?
Well, I mean, should we get to it?
Oh,
No,
sorry.
yeah,
you don't need to
Let's
spoil it.
do.
I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah,
let's do
right.
peanut butter first. Chunky peanut butter.
But I will say, just to prep you, Nick, is that protein bars that we've tried in the past have not been very popular amongst the 3 of us.
Yeah, I understand. I mean,
this could be the exception.
They're fake. They're like fake candy bars.
Yeah. But the chunky peanut butter one, when you and I were talking, this is the one that you said you get like all the time. The other 2 flavors you hadn't tried before. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So we were. Gagger and I were talking to another guy today. We told him that we were going to be doing this episode, and he eats protein bars and said that anything over 20 grams of protein was like the line for where he didn't think they could be tasty past that. And this one I notice has exactly 20. So do you find that the higher protein is worse, Nick?
I pretty much only get the higher protein because I feel like if you're going to be taking in a protein bar, that you got to go for the higher protein. Otherwise, you just might as well eat a candy bar. I feel like.
Yeah, right.
Why do you eat them? Just because you don't have time to eat lunch and stuff?
No, I mean, I work out, so I try to get like I really am supposed to get like I really am supposed to get like 100. Like I think 100. It's based on your weight, but I was supposed to get like 150 grams of protein a day or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that just seemed insane. Like I don't know how I could possibly eat that much protein. So I started eating protein bars. This was years and years ago.
Yeah.
And now I just kind of eat them on days when I work out just because it's like an excuse to eat like a fake candy bar kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But I like peanut butter and chocolate stuff. So
on the days that you work out, that's the days that you can eat a real candy bar because you got to make up those calories you burned off, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm always trying to make up the calories.
Why are you not working out except to like shove Reese's into your mouth? You know, that's all.
Eating a Big
Fucking
Mac while
point
on the
of it.
treadmill. Just,
Yeah.
going
I
in
gotta
and
eat this
coming
Big
out.
Mac, otherwise I'm gonna waste away.
All right, Nick, let's have you go first. Tell us what you think of this chunky peanut butter think bar.
Look, it's no Reese's.
Nope.
Nope.
No Reese's. That's your opening line. This thing's never met Reese's.
But
This thing got choke slammed through the border wall by Reese's. That's what this is.
I feel like if you guys, it sounds like you guys don't like this one, and I feel like if you don't like this one, you're really not going to like the others. I mean, I think it's a delight, honestly. I really, whenever I buy these, I pretty much go through a box in like a couple of days, and I'm not a snacker usually, but I like these a lot. The scale is.
So it sounds like you're either a like that or a love
I
that.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just go like that because I don't. It's no Reese's, you know. You got to have Reese's at a higher level, I think.
All right, Geiger.
Yeah. You need to have Reese's in another like ozone layer, like another zip code. These are of all the protein bars we've had, this one is probably in the upper quadrant for me. Like, it's not bad. Well, let me rephrase. It's bad, but it's not like. But it's not like compared to like the Fit Crunch bar and all that other stuff we've had. It's not nearly at that level.
It's chewy. It's soft and chewy. Also, I should.
Yeah,
mention.
it's not as dry and powdery, right?
Yeah, and it's not too chewy.
Nick, have you ever tried the Robert Irvin's Fit Crunch bar?
Let me look it up. That doesn't sound familiar.
You'd remember it. It's the size of a fucking like monkey wrench. It's
They're
fucking huge.
They're fucking huge, and like we've tried a couple flavors, and the birthday cake one is like probably the grossest thing we've ever tried on this podcast. It's so disgusting.
haven't tried these before, and I'm looking at Robert Irvin right now. He looks like Henry Rollins. I trust his. Maybe I'll try these because I trust his body.
He's a celebrity chef or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah.
He's also married. He's married to a wrestler too.
Yeah.
Oh, Gail Kim, maybe.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the Undertaker, I think.
He does like Restaurant Impossible. That's his show.
That's right. I remember. Yeah.
He's a beefcake. I don't like this. It's okay. Like I said, it's okay. I would maybe consider like a low level indifferent, but the aftertaste is just so shitty with these things. And I think I might be allergic to something in it because it's making my tongue feel weird. But I'm not allergic to peanuts, so I don't know what would be in here. But whatever, it stinks. I will give it a boy. The chocolate doesn't. My problem with these, when you say it's chocolate peanut butter, I can taste the peanut a little bit. I don't really taste any chocolate. It doesn't taste like chocolate to me.
Really?
So, it's okay. I mean, maybe it's really bad chocolate. I don't know. I'll say I probably should eat more things like this that are healthier and not just eat a Big
This
Mac
is not
on the
healthy.
treadmill. No, it's not healthy either. Okay, wait a minute. So why are we doing it? It's not healthy.
I mean,
it doesn't taste good.
It has protein. That's like
So does a steak. I could just eat that.
a steak would be a better source of protein than these for sure.
It's harder to eat in the car, I guess. But all right. So I will give it a. I will give it a higher level dislike that, but it's still a dislike that for me.
Chad?
This actually, I think this is the best protein bar we've tried on the podcast. I will
fair,
say that.
I think. Yeah.
It's not like super, super drying like most of these are. It has a flavor that could vaguely be associated with peanut butter. You know what I mean? Like it's a flavor where it's like if somebody had never tasted peanut butter and I was trying to describe what peanut butter tasted like to them, like this might be what they imagined. Wow,
how would you describe it and they would imagine this? What would the words be that you would use?
Well, it's it's got peanuts and it's kind of buttery, That's about as far as I'd go. I wish there was like just maybe a little more salt to kind of like make the flavor a little stronger. It's just a little bland, honestly. And I think that's what Geiger's saying, where he doesn't really taste the chocolate.
Yeah.
I also don't really taste the chocolate, and I think that's probably
Chad, throw some salt in there.
That's what I should do. I should do. Yeah, I should just like have my salt lick nearby and just rub the bar across it before I eat it. Probably be a little bit better. But you know, it's honestly, it's not offensive. Like this is the kind of thing where like if I was like on a hike, you know, and like working out, I'd probably eat a Snickers. But if I was forced to eat a protein bar, then it would probably be this one. So I'm actually going to give it an indifferent to that.
Wow.
Surprising me, actually.
I'm wondering how much protein is in a Snickers bar.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up.
Peanuts. I bet it's like 8 grams. So this thing is like
3 grams.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, so you just need to eat 7 Snickers. Catch up
Really
this bar, which
satisfies.
honestly I would rather eat
that.
7 Snickers than this bar.
Saying this is the best protein bar we've had is like me saying this is the X game I'm best at as I'm flying face first down a half pipe. It does taste less dry and powdery than other protein bars. So I think that if you are someone looking for a protein bar, then all you were interested in was getting the protein, then this might be a decent option. Much better option than eating some of the other bars that we've had over the past couple months. But it still does not taste good. And we are just rating it on how it tastes. It reminds me, like Nick, if you like this,
you'll love Reese's.
It reminds me of how, and Geiger and I had this conversation recently of people who are gluten-free and have been gluten-free for a long time say, "Oh, these gluten-free cookies are great. You can't tell the difference," and they only feel that way because they haven't had regular cookies in so long.
Have you had like those Tate's gluten-free?
No, the Tate's are a little bit better. Yeah, but I'm talking about like a homemade stuff. Homemade stuff's the worst for sure. That was a good pull with Tate's though. So I think for a person who eats a lot of shit like the three of us, this can't taste good.
Yeah.
But for someone who eats healthy, it could. So I'm going to give it a dislike that. 2 dislikes and a different and a like. It's a decent score. That could definitely win the day.
Higher than I thought we'd give any of these today. I will
Absolutely.
say that.
Let's do the lemon next.
Yeah, this lemon one, actually, when we were picking out flavors for this, I wanted to do this lemon one because I thought, like, a chocolate peanut butter one, in my mind, I'm just going to compare it to Reese's. You know, it's never going to win. But, like, a lemon, I do like lemon candies. I like lemon flavors. So I thought if there's one of these health bars I'm going to like, it's going to be the lemon one.
I like lemon.
In health bars, I think health bars is stretching it.
But to me, like, again, I'm confused. The only reason to eat this as opposed to trash is to be healthy. But if it's not healthy,
well,
why am I eating this?
I'm calling this a health bar because I'm a guy that eats like sugar logs every day. You know what I mean? So like compared to that,
ate 7 Snickers.
It's disappointing that you don't consider them health bars because they seem really healthy to us.
It really is just as a source of protein. Like, just because you need to, like, you're supposed to eat a ton of protein if you're lifting weights. That's the only reason you eat these.
I mean, in my diet, this basically now counts as a vegetable, I think. This is pretty much as close to fruits and veggies as I get now. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I just remembered I ate one of those king size Reese's Crispy Crunchy bars earlier today, and it's making me rethink my crunchy peanut butter score here as I remember that delicious bar.
What is that, Reese's Crispy Crunchy?
It's like a Butterfinger bar, but then with like a layer of peanuts on top, and then coated in chocolate.
It's amazing.
We tried it earlier this year for the first time, and it's like we all
really hard to find now. Though.
Yeah, they're hard to find.
I googled it, and the Amazon link had already been clicked. Like it was a purple link.
Oh,
so I've been researching this, and I don't even.
It's because we're in the same room. Okay, so Chad, why don't you start this one? What do you think of the lemon delight flavor?
I've only taken one bite so far.
All right, Geiger.
Yeah, start with Geiger.
Okay. This is I like lemon flavored things. Like Chad said, I think like a lemon bar, like a homemade lemon bar, like those gooey lemon bars with the powdered sugar on top. Those are really good. This is no lemon bar. This is not great. It's got, again, though, my problem with protein bars, I think, is less the during taste and more the aftertaste. The aftertaste is so bad, and it just lingers on my tongue. It's got like a bitter lemon flavor, and this one seems a bit like maybe the chocolate from the other one kind of smoothed the bite out. This one seems like you're just kind of biting into like clunky, gummy, weird stuff. So again, it's not like horrid. It's super healthy, as we've established. But I will give this another one a dislike that. I don't really care for it too much.
All right, Nick, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I do wonder, what is that? Right? What are we biting into?
You're eating these by the box loads and just now decided to question what it is?
Well, because I usually get the peanut butter one, and I'm like, I can kind of fool myself thinking, oh, I'm biting into peanut butter, or like at least like kind of like a Butterfinger approximation of peanut butter. Mm-hmm. But this, I'm not biting into lemon. I don't know what I'm biting into.
No.
Just like, I guess, clumped together protein. Yeah,
you're biting into health. It's just health.
Yeah. I'm biting into broccoli. When Chad suggested the lemon, I was shocked. Like, I'd never thought to buy lemon flavored protein bars, but when I tried it, I was shocked again and delighted because I liked them. Not as much as the peanut butter ones, but I've had protein bars that are just too hard or too chewy. These especially the lemon and the peanut butter, the chunky peanut butter one, are the right texture for me, and I don't mind the taste at all. So I'll give it a mild like that.
Chad? This one, actually, I like this one better than the peanut butter because there's no association there with like chocolate and peanut butter where I'm expecting it to be a certain way and it's not. I kind of like the lemon flavor. I wish it was cranked up more, actually. It's the same thing where like I think this needs maybe a little more salt, bring that lemon flavor
throw
out.
Some salt on there, man.
Throw some salt, throw some sea salt specifically. Needs to be sea salt.
Do you ever salt like a candy bar or something like that? I'm sorry to interrupt. I keep interrupting.
No, that's okay.
Do people do that?
That's the thing.
I never have.
I salt people do. Chocolate chip cookies sometimes, right? You put some sea salt on top of a chocolate chip cookie. That's really good.
Like you're just sitting at the table eating a plate of cookies, and you'll just
no, like before you
taking
bake
a salt
them or
shaker.
Whatever.
Oh no,
yeah, like right before they go in the oven, you sprinkle a little salt on top.
You ever see a guy salt a beer?
I've seen
that. Is that a thing?
Yeah, people just take a salt shaker and pour it on their beer.
Not a ton. I think some people do it with like Coronas and stuff to like approximate a margarita-ish type thing.
Oh.
I saw the guy from Death Wish do it in the movie.
Oh.
I guess I've never seen it in person. Anyway, don't know why I brought that up. He was just like sitting in a diner drinking a beer, and he took the salt shaker and poured it on the beer. I looked it up, and people do it. I don't know why.
Like Charles Bronson, Death Wish?
Charles Bronson, yeah, that's right. Not Bruce Willis. Yeah, Charles Bronson.
Does it make it like refizz and stuff or anything like that?
Yes, I think that's part of it.
Oh, maybe that's why it has nothing to do with the margarita.
That was the Undertaker's directing. Salt that beer.
Finish the wall and salt the beer.
Anyway.
Stand your ground.
I'm gonna stick with an indifferent to that because it's not like I wouldn't go buy this again, like just for it. But yeah, again, I wish it tasted a little more lemony, but yeah, that's where I'm at on this.
All right, for me, this is the same, in the exact same ballpark as the first one.
Thank you.
It's not good.
Call him out. Get him.
It smells lemony, but it doesn't even smell that much like a lemon food. It almost smells like cleaner. It's lemon scented cleaner. So it's kind of a fake lemony kind of smell. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's still, like we said, better than some of the other protein bars. I'm going to still put this at a low level dislike that. So we had a dislike, 2 dislikes. So like, Chad, what did you say again?
Indifferent.
And indifferent. I can't believe you're indifferent in these things.
Yeah, I don't. Do you owe Nick money or something?
I mean, I'm definitely like regretting my life choices already as we sit here. So.
Yeah, I don't care if you guys like these.
I hope not. We're in trouble if you do.
Well, we don't care if you like them either.
I barely like them.
All right. So in honor of our X Games episode, we're going to do a little segment where I'm going to name off some sports from around the world that exist. Okay. They're very bizarre, strange sports. Many of them you've probably never heard of before. Mm-hmm. And you guys are going to rank these on a 1 to 10 scale of how much you'd like to see this on ESPN, and that you'd sit down and watch it. All right. If you no chance you'd watch it, you'd turn the channel, you're going to give it a 1. If you'd be dying to see this, hitting the DVR record, then you're going to give it a 10.
Can we convert that 1 to 10 scale to a like dislike that, indifferent, like that, love that scale, just so I kind of know exactly where everything falls? Because my mind is so in the like that, dislike that mode. I don't know if I can accurately do a 1.
Wow, you want to cut out half the ratings here and remove all nuance from it.
I just want to know where would like that fit in the 1 to 10 scale? Is that like a 7?
7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you another like little insight that's helpful. These numbers don't fucking mean anything.
Okay, I got it.
We were the NPS of these things over here. Yeah.
So the first one is professional wrestling. No, we got to work on the battleground stage in 2024.
That's professional wrestling.
All right. So the first one is Octopus Wrestling.
Ooh.
It says, if you're imagining man versus octopus in some undersea contest where the winner gets thrown into the seabed, you're not quite on the right lines.
Oh,
the actual way for a man to win such a wrestling match is to wrestle the octopus onto dry land. The sport became popular in the 1960s along the west coast of the United States, and there was even a world championship held in Washington in 1963. The winner of that caught an 80-pound octopus. So this is a man wrestling an octopus onto dry land.
So they have to like dive into the water or whatever, grab it, and then like try to
where
drag
do they get it from?
Yeah, I don't know if this is like a it's a lake that they've populated with many octopi, or if it is watching a man wade in the water for 6 hours until the octopus comes.
Just coming striding out, they're just covering him. He can barely walk.
And then you got to do it again for like his competitors.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a 2-week affair. Mm-hmm. All right, so Chad, what do you think? Is it something you want to watch?
Well, does this person, do they, when they win, do they get to then like slap the octopus onto a grill and, enjoy a nice meal afterwards?
I think it did say something about they would eat it afterwards.
Okay. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse about it, actually. Because on the one hand, I guess if you're going to torture this animal that was minding its own business and pull it out of the water, like, you better fucking eat it at that point. Right. But, it does feel, aren't octopi like some of the like smartest animals or whatever, right? Like they always do the thing where the octopus picks the winner of the Super Bowl or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking
about? That's Terry Bradshaw.
That's an octogenarian. The purest form of intellect on earth, picking the Super Bowl winner.
I think I've seen the videos where like some aquarium does that, where they put like 2 treats out that one will have like a Patriots label and the other one will have Rams label or whatever, and then it like
that's not intelligence though.
I mean, it's pretty smart octopus.
Knocks a helmet over with a tentacle. Look at this genius.
I think it was like 80% of the time or something like that.
All right.
Yeah, but I've heard that. I think it's yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
You think they film it after the Super Bowl and then send it back in time?
I think there's a bunch of octopuses doing this, and they started out like 20 years ago. They had like 100 octopi choosing. I think it was soccer winners. Maybe it was Super Bowl winners, And then they kept whittling it down until there was one that was getting it right every time. Then they said, "Hey, look at this one octopus."
The one you better get this right, or you're getting wrestled out of this aquarium.
One octopus was like, the Patriots are going to struggle without their left tackle.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. This doesn't sound that interesting to me. Usually underwater stuff, it just isn't interesting to watch. Kind of too slow moving. So I'm going to give this a 2.
What do you think, Nick?
I think it sounds cruel to the octopus. So I'm going to give it a 1.
Geiger?
Yeah, the Undertaker wouldn't like you. No, I'm kidding. Look at this. Nancy.
He liked me.
No, he sounded like he liked you. I
he
take
really
it back.
liked me.
He really loved me. Hi, Mr. Undertaker.
He asked me what my name was.
And who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl?
Knock over one of these hats. I actually think this sounds cool as shit. Like, so here's the thing. I went to the zoo in Milwaukee one time, and they have one of those things where you can, like, the polar bears swim up top, and then you could go down, and there's like a viewing tank where you can watch them swim underwater. And for whatever reason, we were there on a field trip when I was in like middle school, and 2 of the polar bears were like wrestling and punching each other right in front of the window. And it was the coolest fucking thing I may have ever seen in my entire life. They were just like slugging each other, rolling around, these giant polar bears. And it's kind of in slow motion, like Chad said, because they're underwater. It was super cool. So imagine watching this guy just grapple for his life while he's getting drowned by this octopus, like choking him out and stuff. That'd be, I mean, I guess maybe kind of scary, but also interesting. So if they could set it up where I could see the underwater struggle of the octopus versus man, I think that would be really, really cool. I'll give that a 8.
Is that the same field trip where you saw 2 rhinos fuck?
No, that was just with my dad and my sisters.
Oh, okay.
We paid tickets for that. You had to pay extra.
All right, next sport is called Dwile Flanking. It says the word Dwile comes from the Dutch word of map. In this peculiar pub sport, 2 teams of 12 would take turns while one member of the team tried to hit the other players with a beer-soaked map. All right. One
beer-soaked what?
Map.
Oh,
one team would nominate a person to be the flanker, and the other team would circle around the flanker and start to dance, accompanied by music. The flanker would then dip the map into beer and would try to attack the dancers. All right. At one point at the end, it does say the highest points were awarded to it with a hit to the face.
Oh, I thought you were going to say nuts.
All right. So, Nick, what do you think? You like this one a little bit better?
Now I'm wishing the octopus were back here. Like, be more interesting. I don't know. This sounds like
you want him to hit him with a beer-soaked octopus instead. Is that what you want to watch?
This just sounds like something a bunch of drunk college kids made up, like at the end of the night at a frat party or something. I gave the last one a 1. I want to
a 0.
Well, you guys convinced me that the octopus thing was actually really cool, and so this is like
we did
a lot worse than the octopus thing. So I'm gonna give this like a -8. I think.
Okay, -8.
Because now the octopus thing is like, I gave that a 1, and it's actually really cool. So this is a lot worse. Yeah, it's like -8.
Chad?
Yeah, like I kind of agree. It's like this would be very interesting to see if I was like borderline blackout drunk. This would probably be like, and I was like 21 again or whatever. Like then this would probably be like the funniest, fucking thing in the world. But like I'm an old fucking man and I don't like to get blackout drunk anymore. So this just sounds annoying. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 1.
Geiger?
Yeah, this sounds pretty dumb. I think like if I was at a bar and a bunch of dipshits got in a circle and some guy started swinging a mop around, I'd be just annoyed and be like, "Shut the fuck up, guys!"
Yeah, I'd be like, "Time to leave. Let's go."
Yeah,
unless he like started singing a song. Because it almost seems like the musical is breaking out.
Depends on the song, honestly.
If they were singing the song, I might stick around. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I think that would be like a 2. I think that sounds obnoxious.
All right. So we end with a -5 on that one. All right. Next one's called Ba Game. BA game. In this game, 2 parts of the village need to get their ball to the other side. Mm-hmm. The 2 teams are the uppies and the downies. The players should belong to a certain group depending on which town they were born in and hold allegiance with. The ball in Ba game must be man-handled. So basically, 2 sides of town trying to get the ball from one side to the other only with hands. The game is played all throughout town. It can go through the streets, the yards, or alleyways. Then it says, when townspeople decide to play Ba, the shops and houses protect their windows to prevent damages. So the people must be getting pretty fucking crazy. Smashing through windows to get the ball from one side of town to the other. So Chad, you start this one. An entire town trying to get a ball from one side to the other. What do you think?
I mean, that sounds fun as fuck, to be honest. Like, it's like just imagine if, football or basketball or something played at like an entire city scale, right? Like, working your way through the streets of New York City. Oh, now the player's down in the subway, that kind of stuff. It could be fun.
It's the New York City. They have to get it from one side. I'm thinking this is probably a pretty small town.
Oh man, if like the Warriors were playing this, that'd be super fun to watch.
Yeah, right. You do it all across San Francisco, and there's all this strategy using like all the steep hills and stuff. Like, you like chuck it from the top of the hill, that kind of stuff. That could be good.
What a strategy.
Yeah, throwing from a hill. That's the strategy. Yeah, this sounds like a lot of fun. I'm gonna go 7 on this one.
All right, Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, when you said New York City, I lit up. I was thinking of that movie The Warriors and all these different street gangs kicking this ball, and like maybe they're swinging bats around. And some of them have makeup on to make themselves look like baseballs, and I don't know. I don't remember exactly what they wore, but yeah, I like this one a lot. I think it's a little bit better than the Octopus one, and I gave that one a 1. So I'm gonna give this one a 2.
So I'm super enthused. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen the Warriors either, so I don't know if it would be like that. But I think it could be fun. It's like a giant like game of kickball or rugby or something across the whole town. That'd be neat. Mm-hmm. Chad is exactly right. It's just like football. Where I think there's a seahorse that picks the winner every year, right? Of the Ba tournament.
It's a sheep.
It's a sheep. It's a Ba. You're just naming the sport. Who's winning? I think that'd be a lot of fun. Now, I don't think it like when you're talking about shopkeepers boarding up their livelihoods and like sounds the Warriors swinging bats around. Yeah, that sounds more dangerous. I don't know if I want to play New York City Warriors Ba.
I want to come out and play. That's what they say on the Warriors.
No, I get it. Yeah, I get it. But I don't want to get my teeth broken in by some Aaron's baseball bat from the Ba Warrior. But I think I'll give it a solid 5. That sounds like it could be a lot of fun.
All right, that's way out in the lead. And is it great for Ba players, if you are listening, throw the ball from the top of the hill.
And paint yourself to look like a baseball. That's the 2 things we recommend.
All right, this one actually has the word Warriors in the description. It's the Cardboard Tube Fighting League. The Cardboard Tube Fighting League organizes events each year all throughout U.S. and Australia. At these events, the quote
U.S. and Australia.
At the events, these in quotes warriors meet to duel it out with flimsy and homemade armor for protection. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
There's nothing nerdy about this.
They took a break from their Call of Duty.
Yeah. Nick, you've been kind of harsh on these. Is this one going to win you over?
That's it. That's the whole description.
Yeah, that's it.
How do you win?
Get a girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this one it would be fun to watch for like a couple minutes, I guess, just a bunch of people like smacking each other with cardboard. It's I would say it's not it's less cruel to animals than the octopus one, but it's not as interesting. It doesn't sound as interesting. So I think that cancels it out. I'll give it the same grade I gave the octopus thing, so I'll give it a 1.
All right. Geiger?
I do not think it would be interesting to watch these LARPers in the park batting each other with toilet paper.
The toilet paper tubes, not the actual
toilet paper. Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
The actual toilet paper would make it better, I think.
And it just sounds like it just, like, to Nick's point, like, how do you score it? Like, you can also easily see it devolving into one like, well, I hit you, but no, I have a 19 defense or whatever, like on my epaulets or whatever the fuck they're doing. Yeah,
he's just written 19 with a Sharpie on his
my hit points. Yeah, no, this looks, and look, I am not. I'm not cool in any stretch of the word, but I am way too cool to be caught dead watching these fucking assholes in a park hit each other with toilet paper tubes. So I'm gonna say 2 for tube.
All right, Chad.
I agree with Nick that I do think this would be funny. You know, like if I was walking through the park and I saw some people doing this, I would definitely stop and watch for like, I don't know, 5 minutes. Something like that. Maybe not even that. I don't know, but probably a couple minutes, right? Like,
if I saw it live, I'd probably stay there for an hour or so. Like, what am I going to be doing that's better than?
Yeah, you waited 30 minutes for the Undertaker. So.
Is he the final boss of this whole thing?
Yeah, I would just sit there, pretend to be on my phone and then walk up and ask one of them for an autograph or whatever. But
do you think does he sign Undertaker if he asks
he's
for
got it, right? He's not going to sign like Bob Smith or whatever his name is.
You're not going to show off some autograph with this guy named Mark. No one wants to know that.
Oh yeah, Mark. That's what his name's. Yeah, so I think that's good. Maybe 5-10 minutes of entertainment. After that, it's definitely going to get boring. Unless there's like, by some miracle, there's one dude who's like, you know, all like Cirque du Soleil style athletic. You know, just like flipping around in his cardboard armor, like jumping over dudes and stuff. That'd be cool, but it's probably not going to happen.
That guy definitely channeling his talents in the appropriate way.
All right, 3 left. Ba's still way out in the lead. Let's see if one of these other ones is going to catch your fancy. All right, this one's called Fireball Soccer.
Ooh.
There's only so much you could do to make soccer different, or so you think. Enter Fireball Soccer. That's played with a ball made from coconut soaked in gasoline for a week before lighting it up with a match. Like this wasn't adventurous enough, the game is played barefoot. Okay, so it's basically soccer with a flaming coconut. Barefoot men. So, Chad, you start this one.
How long could that possibly last, right? Like that's got to burn out within like a couple minutes, right? Like your ball's going to have disappeared, I would think.
And you think the field would catch fire?
Yeah, that's true.
Grass.
Yeah.
They play on sand on the beach or something.
Mm-hmm. Chad, what do you give it?
Yeah, this sounds pretty cool, actually. If I was walking past this in a park, I'd stay and watch it for a good 5-10 minutes until the entire park was on fire. Honestly, this feels like something in like a video game or whatever. You know what I mean? Like a video game kind of like special mode of like the new FIFA. It's
he's on fire.
This sounds kind of fun. The problem actually here I have was the soccer. That's the boring part to me. Gotta overcome the boringness.
The point of what they're doing.
It's still 0-0 after.
Now, yeah, exactly. Oh, the two defenders are passing it back and forth for 30 minutes again.
Would you prefer like a fireball hacky sack?
Yeah, I would. Fireball volleyball, maybe, or fireball octopus, even. So yeah, I think I'll probably give this one. This one's a 5. It's kind of right down the middle for me.
Ooh, all right, Nick, what do you think?
But so is this real? Like, do people do this?
Yes, these are all real. I didn't make any of these
Wow.
up.
Yeah, I mean the idea of people kicking around a coconut engulfed in flame. I mean, that sounds really cool. All these things I would much prefer to see them in person. Like I don't know if I would be flipping through channels and stick around for this. Maybe a flame, maybe a flaming soccer ball. Yeah, I'd watch it. Yeah, so I kind of set the baseline with that one, and I definitely like it better than the. I'll give it a 3.
Ooh, that's the highest.
Wow.
That's high praise, actually.
yeah.
Feeling generous, huh?
Geiger.
You had me all the way in until you said they had bare feet. I don't want to watch a bunch of dudes burn their feet off. That sounds like it would be really painful.
Well, it's like what you could put your hand
Gross.
over a candle real quick, right? And your hand doesn't immediately immolate, right? So like,
sure,
I
but
feel
you're
like
going to
you
be
could
doing like
quickly kick.
multiple times a day. Like multiple times in the course of a match, you're kicking the ball, and then the goalie is catching it with his bare hands.
No,
well, I
it's
didn't say bare hands.
not.
Yeah.
All right, he's allowed to wear gloves. I don't know what.
Yes. He's got of gloves on.
He's got off gloves on,
He's got off gloves.
but they're fingerless of gloves, so he's got to be careful.
I actually think that like I am opposite of Nick. Like, if I was just aimlessly flipping through channels and came across one where dudes were kicking a gassed up coconut at each other, I'm watching that for a couple minutes at least. So I think this sounds kind of cool. Yeah, Chad's right. It's like a special mode in like Mario Soccer or something. It sounds like so. I'll give it a 6. I like that.
Ooh.
And I think if they were wearing shoes, like the shoes would catch on fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then they're, but I guess maybe their feet. I don't know. I just remember like one time I was camping and I put my shoes too close to the campfire, and then after 10 minutes I realized like my shoes had melted. So I figured that probably would happen if they, like just the sole of the shoe had like melted, and it was like.
Was your campfire just like pure propane, just like flying?
No,
a welder's torch that you were doing your s'mores on.
I just was way too close to it, apparently. But yeah,
I
had to throw away those shoes.
Big old wax Nikes. I mean, like ready to go. All right, there's 2 left.
They hadn't totally melted, like they still covered my feet, just like the sole had like was like soft, so I could like move it around. Anyway,
this next one's called Shin Kicking. Originating in England in the early 17th century, this combat sport involves 2 contestants attempting to kick each other in the shin until one hits the ground. It says the Shin Kicking World Championship is part of the Cotswold Olympic Games, an annual event held on Dover's Hill in England. So that's the sport. 2 guys trying to kick each other in the shin until one of them falls down.
That sounds like a very, like, you said it was in England?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like a British fucking, like, drunk Brits on a hill. Boy, let's kick each other in the shin.
All right, Nick, you've been tough to please so far, but is shin kicking maybe a year?
No, have you guys ever been kicked in the shin?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
sucks.
I think so.
Yeah, it sucks. It's horrible. Yeah. I remember once I did it like as a joke to just a friend of mine. I kicked him in the shin, and he was like, "Why would you do that?" I didn't have a good answer.
It's a great question.
It's a valid question. Yeah, I don't know.
He was like, couldn't you at least taken off your wax shoes first?
No, that doesn't sound fun to watch. Which one did I give a -8 to?
The wet mop.
Oh yeah. So this is worse than that. I guess I'll give it a -9.
The picture was really funny. It was 2 guys, and they had like they were in like black pants and white shirts. They looked like they'd just gotten off their like shift of being waiters or something, and they had their hands on each other's shoulders, so they were like real close,
like that, like
quarters, and like stretched out, and they both had hands on shoulders, and their legs were like kicking forward.
I didn't know you had to be in like an A-frame hug or whatever while you were doing it. That's kind of.
And you said they were wearing suits.
They were dressed very nicely. It was.
They're British.
It was a British, yeah.
Chad,
it seems like something John Cleese would do. I could see John Cleese doing that.
It was all a Monty Python sketch.
Right. Yeah, this is like worse boxing, right? Like it's sort of
way worse.
And I don't even like boxing. Like I don't like. To me, like it's I don't know, the sport of just like beating up another dude. Just never really appealed to me for some reason. I'm just too nice of a guy to enjoy violence of any kind, I guess. Yeah, this sounds boring as fuck, honestly. This sounds really bad. This might be the worst one. Although, man, that octopus one. Wait, what did I say was the worst? I said the mop one was the worst, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this worse than the mop?
No.
I think it's not worse than the mop, because maybe somebody falls down the hill, and that could be funny. So I'm going to slide it. Didn't you say they were at the top of the hill? I thought you said they did it.
No, that's where you threw the ball.
Yeah.
I thought you said they did it at the top of Cotswood Hill or something like that.
Oh. I think that's just the name of the town.
Right. Great.
It's on the edge of a cliff. I forgot to mention that the loser dies.
The goal of it is not just to knock them down, it's to watch them tumble haplessly down a hill.
Yeah.
Wait, so what score did you give it?
1.5.
All right, Geiger.
Boy, this sounds dumb. It sounds painful. It's not like there's no like. I like combat sports a little bit, not boxing, but like MMA a little bit. But there's really
it's a lot with MMA.
It's like there's only 3 true combat sports in the world. It's boxing, MMA, and shin kicking. And
all right, boys, let's keep it below the knee and above the foot. Come on.
No punching, no gouging, no throwing a guy off a cliff. If you see the ball players rolling through, let them through. I feel like there's no strategy. It's just wailing away on someone's shin, and I could see it being a lot of like falling over and like getting your feet tangled up. I'm just picturing 2 guys doing this the whole time, and it sounds like
tumbling down the hill.
Yeah. Straight down the
hill. just nose diving off a cliff, and where they have to wrestle an octopus. So, what did I give the beer thing? Something shitty. I'll give this something shitty too. I'll give this I don't know. Who cares what it's related to? It's like a 1. This sounds dumb. I would never want to watch this.
All right, last one. The last one's called ferret legging. Okay, it involves contestants tie their pant legs at the bottom and drop 2 ferrets down their pants from the top.
Motherfucker.
Then tightening their belts so the ferrets can't get out. Whichever contestant lasts the longest wins.
Oh, no.
What do we mean by lasting here?
Whoever comes last from the ferrets kicking them off. It's called Ookie Ferret, by the way.
Here's some other fun rules. No underwear is allowed.
Okay. This is just some fun. Fucking guy with a fetish that wanted to normalize it. The rules just get
weirder. Participants must be sober. The ferrets cannot have their teeth filed. The fuck? Like their opponents filing down this ferret's teeth right before they go down.
And you have to be sober so that you don't have any whiskey dick going into it. That's very important.
The record for the sport. Any guess on the record?
What do you mean?
10 minutes.
I'm going to say 35 minutes.
35? Man, an hour? I don't know.
Well, you're all way low. It is
what?
5 hours and 30 minutes.
I guess it just like
fell
soothed
asleep
the ferret.
Yeah.
The ferret probably stopped, gave the fuck up.
Is it a dude just standing there while a ferret meanders around?
Well, I guess if you have the wherewithal to just stare forward while ferrets are gnawing at your legs.
Can you get someone to kick your shins?
Why the ferret is very low in your pant leg.
You singe it with a flaming coconut.
Who filed this ferret's teeth? It's like Deflategate right there.
You can't doctor the ferret. It's got to be an official league ferret.
All right, Chad, you start.
So, my brother David had ferrets growing up. I think I told you guys that before. He had 2 ferrets. 3 ferrets? 2, I don't know. Some number of ferrets. They smell like shit. Fucking ferrets reek to shit. But at least, I mean, I don't know, maybe wild ferrets are worse, but like his ferrets were like nice, you know what I mean? They weren't like we would have them crawl on our shoulder, you know, like crawl on our back and stuff. And they have like pretty sharp claws, but they don't have like, they're not like trying to eat us while they're, you know, hanging out on us. Or whatever.
I mean, they're nice until you lock them in your pants.
I was say they're also not crawling around on your dick.
Right. So that's the thing.
Different.
So I wouldn't have any problem with a ferret. I guess I'm not supposed to say would I do this, but like I wouldn't have any problem with a ferret walking on my leg. But as they started to get a little closer to the nether regions, I would have trouble lasting. Let's just put it that way. So do I want to watch this? But here's the thing: there's no entertainment value there because you can't actually see what the ferret's doing, right? So it's just a guy.
They can get cameras anywhere.
Yeah. They put a GoPro on your dick.
You gotta get that under the balls shot.
Yeah.
Ferret crawling around.
Watch that ferret give him his head.
Yeah, I'm assuming that you can't actually see the ferret, so it's just a dude standing there in hammer pants, like squirming around, basically. I don't know. Well, now he's traveling up my left thigh, you know, as he's like trying to narrate what's happening.
He's also the announcer.
Nobody else can see what the ferret's doing. I don't know.
I'm Don Johnson. I've got a ferret in my pants.
Don Johnson.
Oh yeah, that's a hot one to pick. Yeah.
That's who we got to participate.
Hard up for money.
Once it gets old, they do celebrity ferret leg.
I guess I just
look out, King. The ferret's in my pants.
I just don't see how this is entertaining past the 3-4 minute mark. So I'll give it a 9.
Nick, what do you think?
This sounds like something a king does to to like people who displease him in court, or even just like somebody that, like the jester or whatever. They put a ferret down his trousers. It's like if it's good enough for a king, it's good enough for me. So I give it a 9 as well.
Yeah.
Hold on. So no matter what I do, ferret pants is cruising to the victory. It sounds like. All right. Well,
Ba game and soccer had the tie, but ferret is taking it.
Yeah. So tell us why it's a 9 for you, Geiger.
No, look, it's up there. Look, I think Chad brings up a good point. Unless there's some sort of interpants camera or like transparent pants, like all I'm doing is watching.
Transparent pants. That's
yeah.
I bet you just like. Yeah, you opened up the sport. You like,
hey,
you made this thing profitable.
Put
on your glass pants.
It's like Fox will have like they did with the hockey with the glowing puck, the glowing like ferret as it runs through the guy's like burrows into the guy's ass crack or whatever. But I think. I think it like without that, you're just watching a guy stand there and then watching like a bulge randomly pop out like in various parts of his like legs.
But why are you assuming that we don't have those things? Why are you assuming we don't have like a pants camera or like you suggested?
Because I'm assuming the guy doesn't want his whole dick on camera. I don't.
He But he wants a ferret? Chomp him?
Yeah. I think this guy's past Karen. That sort of stuff.
I've got no feeling down there anyway. This ferret ruined it.
No, I want the world to watch a ferret claw away at my penis, but I don't want to actually show them that penis. Like, who's that dude?
Don't worry, it's covered in peanut butter anyway. Yeah, no, a 9. You guys convinced me. It's a 9.
Wow. The winner. Ferret legging. All right. Let's eat the last bar. The chocolate and cream cupcake bar has a picture of a delicious Hostess cupcake on the front.
That's ridiculous.
And I wanted to try this one because I thought this one looked the most revolting of all the flavors because I don't like those Hostess cupcakes.
Isn't this like copyright infringement? Like they're just totally showing a picture of another product on there.
And it is like the other bars. One of the peanut butter crunch bar just has a picture of peanuts, like whole peanuts in the shell. Like that's not misleading. Well, I guess it is also misleading too. But it's like you can't just like have like a Snickers bar and you put like a Reese's on the wrapper.
Well, but is that like a trademarked image? Like, is that the only cupcake that looks like? You know what I mean? Like,
it does. I mean, you could have just put a generic looking cupcake on it.
I guess,
and it's also split open to where you can see the cream that would be in the middle, and that like doily looking white cream on top. And they kind of replicated it a little by putting some white streaks across the top.
Yeah, this one definitely has like some zebra stripes looking things across the top of the chocolate. Well, save the best for last.
All right, Chad, you have an opinion?
Yeah. This one's fucking disgusting. I'll go ahead and say that. I'm gonna spit my second bite out. So,
how often does that happen?
I think I spit out stuff pretty frequently, actually.
Yeah. Chad of all of us is the most likely to not finish it. Yeah.
So this one I find particularly offensive because it feels to me like it's trying to emulate. I know it's a picture of a chocolate cupcake on the front, but it feels like it's trying to emulate like maybe a brownie. They're trying to go a little extra fudgy there. I love a fucking brownie. I love chocolate cake. Those are like maybe my favorite desserts in the whole world. And this thing is so far removed from that. And with the peanut butter one, like we said, you didn't really taste the chocolate. And maybe in retrospect, that's actually a good thing. Because here you do taste the chocolate. And it is some of the worst chocolate I've ever had. This is really, really gross. This one tastes a lot drier to me, too, than the other ones did. And a lot more gummy. The consistency here is terrible. This thing is a failure on every level. Hate that.
Wow. All right. Nick, how do you feel about this one compared to the others?
Yeah, I agree. This is definitely my least favorite of them. Yeah, and it is like the other ones kind of looked craggly inside it, and this one is just like I don't know what it looks more like nougat, I guess. Like it kind of looks like you're looking at a Three Musketeers, but like maybe a chocolate Three Musketeers or something.
It feels way denser. Yeah.
I've never been a fan of like the just pure. There's just chocolate protein bars that are like have chocolate as a filling. And this is the first one of you guys. I forget who. One of you kept mentioning an aftertaste. This is the first time I've had that aftertaste, and I don't like it. Aftertaste. Nobody ever talks about good aftertaste, right? But there must be some like good aftertaste. But this is not one of them. No. So I'll give it a. I forget what I don't like.
Dislike or
dislike that. Dislike that. Yeah.
Okay. I disagree with you guys, and actually, this is my favorite of the three.
Of course.
Wow.
Of fucking course. You saw the Hostess and went from 6 to midnight immediately.
That ferret just went flying over your shoulder. Springboarded out of
there. Now, before we go too far, it is still bad. Right? I just think it's better than the other two. I actually thought the during taste, while I was chewing, was the best. It has like a brownie consistency to it. The flavor is not as bad as the other ones, but the aftertaste is the worst of the three. But overall, if I had to eat one of the three of these, I would probably eat this one. I think maybe it could if I actually thought when I first saw the package, because of the coloring on it, it was going to be chocolate mint before I read it. And I think if they put like mint in it, maybe it could have helped a little bit. But as it is, I'm going to give it my third dislike dat. It's just the best dislike dat of the three.
Nick, you're shaking your head at that mint. You don't want mint after a workout? Is that what it is?
No, I don't like mint really ever with chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't.
Hell yeah.
Chocolate
really?
and mint don't make sense to me.
I love
chocolate. Really? You don't like a York peppermint patty or like a Frango mint or anything like that?
Oh, sure, York peppermint patty I love, but it just no, I don't. No, it's like the exact definition of what I don't
like. What do you like mint with? Would you have a peppermint candy or something?
Just mainly toothpaste.
Not hard candy either.
I'll eat some of those like hard candies that are like red and white striped or whatever. What are those called? Just mints?
A candy cane?
Peppermint.
Yeah. Like the after dinner mints or whatever.
But I don't like them. I guess I just eat them. Oh, why do I eat those? But yeah, no, I'm not a mint guy, I guess.
Right.
I'm on the same page as you, Nick, with mint. It's like stick it to toothpaste and that's it.
Mint is awesome.
Geiger, awesome. There's no chance that this bar can win, but maybe you feel like I do that it's better than the other two. Is that true?
Well, I actually was relieved to hear your take because I thought I was the crazy one. I like this the best of these as well.
Yeah.
I think the way I look at it, like the consistency is the most like this sort of thing. Like Chad mentioned brownie bars. Like when you have those like cosmic brownie bars or those crappy packaged brownie bars, they kind of have that same chewy, gritty like consistency as this thing did. The taste isn't good. The aftertaste is awful. The during taste to me was the least offensive. And so for that reason, I like it better than the other two. I still give it a dislike that it's not good to eat.
All right.
And it's
4
not
dislikes. Yeah. Not a welcome visitor. So did the other two tie? Am I right about that?
The other two tied exactly. Like we all gave it the same. So we all have to vote for a preference between the two. For me, it's the lemon.
Peanut butter for me.
Yeah, me too. No, that gets down to you.
Lemon.
So still tied.
All right, lemon wins.
All right, we're gonna put a lemon bar and a peanut butter bar down my pants and put a ferret in there, and whichever one gets eaten first.
Geiger, where can listeners contact us?
All right, if you have ferret legged, if you have played Ba, if you have met the Undertaker, if you are the Undertaker, I doubt you're probably listening, Undertaker, but hey, Nick's a big fan, so are we. If you like these bars, if you like any protein bar and you think you have a really good one, tell us what it is. We'll look for it. I want to like one of these. I guess I don't care, but it'd be interesting to have one that was good, and not one of these. And if you want early like tips on whether you should take the Dolphins in the under, and we'll hook you up with an octopus who can give you a little insight. So reach out to us at youtrydat@gmail.com. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter with a hashtag You Tried Dat. We're on Facebook with a You Tried Dat group. Let us know what you think of the podcast. Suggest snacks. Give us your own ratings. Ask questions for a mailbag. If you do like the podcast, please leave us a nice little review and some stars, and maybe tell a few folks, friends, acquaintances in your life about it. And for those of you who listen regularly, we really do appreciate it. And thanks as always.
Okay, so Nick, you have a newer podcast in Hunger Cat Daily, a Kids in the Hall one. How did this come about?
Well, I was trying to think of a show that I like that doesn't have a podcast yet. Just because it's like all these shows have a podcast where everybody like reviews one episode at a time. They talk about it. Yeah. And so I searched for Kids in the Hall podcast, and I couldn't find one. So I talked to two of my friends that write sketch comedy. I was like, we should do a podcast where we review Kids in the Hall. So we started doing it, and then we recorded like 5 episodes, and then we're gonna started putting them out. And then I just happened to Google Kids in the Hall podcasting, and I found one. So
so you weren't the first one.
Yeah. So we were going to call it the Only Kids in the Hall podcast, and then we had to change it to not the Only Kids in the Hall podcast because there already was one. And then it turns out like the two of them, my two co-hosts, they'd never seen Kids in the Hall, and it turns out they don't like it.
Oh no! Oh,
were they just contractually obligated to be in a podcast with you?
Well, no, I mean they'll find some things to like, and they started to grow. I think it grew on them as and I think the first season was a little rough. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's like kind of became a thing. Like, who is this podcast for? Like, Kids in the Hall fans don't want to listen to a podcast where people talk about how they don't like the show. So I don't know. We kind of stopped doing it, but we've been meaning to start it back up again. And we went through like 1.5 seasons, and we started. They just put out a new season of Kids in the Hall, but we got through a couple of those. But,
yeah, I was gonna say maybe you should just be following along with the new seasons instead, and then.
Well, that was the idea. That was the idea, and we put out like when the new season came out, we put one out the day it came out, and then another one after that, like a week or so later, and we got a lot more listens because of the new show, but a lot more people disappointed with the show. It was just we got more listens and we got more feedback of people saying, "Why are you doing this? We don't like this. You guys don't like the
show." You're really selling it today to us.
If you look at our reviews on Apple Podcasts, it's like, not for Kids in the Hall fans. Do not listen to this if you like Kids in the Hall. It's like we had like a few nice people email us and tell us they like the show, but yeah, a lot of feedback of why are you stop doing this.
Well, but you guys hate Garfield too, and you still.
But everybody kind of hates Garfield.
Yeah, Garfield has no real fans.
Well, we did get some feedback from people selling us why we were wrong for disliking certain comics. Like, yeah, we definitely have met some Garfield fans that don't like how little we like Garfield, but yeah.
Was it Jim Davis?
People don't like Garfield. There's this 10-year-old kid named Danny that used to email us, and he was very into Garfield, and he couldn't understand why we didn't like it.
Oh, that's sad.
That's really sad.
It's also kind of funny listening to or imagining a 10-year-old kid listening to your podcast where you guys are like making Jay Leno jokes all the time. No idea who the fuck that is and stuff.
You don't think he watches the new Jay Leno You Bet Your Life show?
I don't think so.
Or Jay Leno's Garage where he talks about his cars.
Sounds like this is more of a Jay Leno podcast than it is Garfield.
Maybe that's the show we should do a podcast about. Whatever.
A recap of Jay Leno's Garage. Then he looked at a Rolls Royce. Sure had a big chin.
Well, we recommend that you check out Hungry Cat Daily, and if you hate Kids in the Hall, you want someone to commiserate with, then check out the
Not the only podcast.
Yeah. All right, Nick, thanks so much for coming. Really,
thanks for having me.
See you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, that's gonna do for this time. We'll be back next time. We're trying out 3 brand new snakes.
Yes.
Yep.
And what it involves, in fact, is taking a live ferret who is fully fanged, fully clawed, and fully awake and sober, just like yourself, sealing the bottom of your trousers, pulling them open at the top, sticking the head of the ferret in your mouth to instigate fight or flight reflex, and dropping it down your trousers.